An accused rapist now at the center of the APD's DNA lab scandal. Hello, I'm Leslie Rohde.
I'm Robert Hadlock. Randall Scott Jordan's trial was supposed to start next week, but now justice is delayed while the court sorts out allegations of faulty evidence. It comes after a former lab employee raised several concerns, including how DNA analysts are trained. KXAN's Reagan Hackelman has been following this case. He joins us live from the Travis County Justice Complex. And Reagan, what does this ruling mean for the other cases involving DNA collected by Austin police?
Well, Leslie and Robert, according to the DA's office, as many as 2,000 cases could be affected by this investigation into APD's crime lab, or I should say APD's DNA lab. Now, this case is the first case since the allegations surfaced, and many at the Travis County Courthouse say this case could have a ripple effect on future cases. Randall Scott Jordan walked into court for the second time in as many days this morning. He's on trial accused of beating and sexually assaulting a woman in a South Austin motel last year. The prosecution plans to use DNA evidence collected and processed by the Austin Police Department's DNA lab. That same lab is now subject to an independent review after a former DNA analyst raised some concerns about the lab.
If a sample is contaminated, how are you ever going to uncontaminate it? Jordan's
attorney, Stephen Orr, successfully argued that he needs an outside expert to review the DNA processed by APD's DNA lab. APD says they've already gone back and reviewed the case, finding only small differences between the original findings.
You mean the Austin Police Department found out there on their own that there's nothing wrong? And you think I'm supposed to rely on the Austin Police Department's own investigation of their own wrongdoing?
I think you're going to see even the DA's office and APD go ahead and just offer up and say, go ahead and retest it.
KXAN's legal analyst Mindy Monford says this case is probably only the first of many where DNA evidence will need to be looked at again.
It's better that you test it to protect the integrity of the system up front and do it right this time, rather than have these things come back 10 years later on appeal.
Now, a company called Orchid Cellmark will be doing the DNA review for this case. They have experience doing this. They did quite a few cases in Houston during a DNA scandal in that city. Now, we did talk to a company last week that does this and asked them how much it costs for them to look over these cases. And they say just to look over the paperwork that this could cost about $2,000, but we're still trying to get in contact with Orchid Cellmark to ask them exactly how much this is going to cost. Reporting live from downtown Austin, Reagan Hackelman, KXAN Austin News.
Reagan,